Hello, and welcome to another edition of Homeland Security Today's Book Talk. I am Kristina Tanasichuk, the executive editor of Homeland Security Today and the president of Women in Homeland Security. And today I am kind of wearing that hat as well because our guest is Kathleen Scudder, who is also on the board of Women in Homeland Security. And she's a former associate chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, where she retired just recently as a senior executive and has come out with a very interesting and amazing book, What Did I Sign Up For? Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. And it's going to be very interesting to hear what you thought you signed up for and what you actually got. So we're really thrilled to talk with you today. So I guess just right out the gate, I mean, you're a #1 bestseller on Amazon now.
I
Congratulations.
know. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
And so what spurred you to write this book?
So I thought about it for a long time. You go through instances and just have experiences. And I'm like, nothing is better than real life. I should write a book. And yeah, I would say that and then just kind of push it aside. And I thought, well, I can't write it till I retire because I might get in trouble for that. But I thought, a lot of it too was very cathartic, just kind of talking about those things and getting it off my chest, if you will. And then it brought up a lot of memories of the really good times too. So it was an experience, and it really didn't take me very. Everything was in my head. I had kind of a list of some stories I wanted to tell, and the rest of it just really flowed um, out. And then started realizing I was like at 60,000 words, and that's apparently where you want to stop. I'm like, well, I guess I'll stop here. Speed it
Well,
up.
we'll need a part two, I guess, then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so you took the time, and I really want to thank you on behalf of kind of everyone in the Homeland Security community, but on behalf of women in particular, because I think a lot of the issues that you address in the book answer a lot of questions for women considering a career in border security, border patrol. Can you just share a story of really I guess there wouldn't be one story, but you say, what did I sign up for? So what is that kind of surprise story that you signed up and then things were very different or things were even better than you expected? I guess we can do a positive or either
Yeah.
story.
So I don't know if this is a negative or not, but it was my first kind of experience of holy crap, what did I sign up for? And that was getting off the bus at the academy. I guess I didn't expect kind of the paramilitary sort of behavior of the organization, although they told us it was paramilitary. I didn't really know what that meant, but it was like getting off the bus at boot camp. I mean, you were being yelled at and get your stuff, and you barely had time to think. And like, I don't know how I'm supposed to act. And, I was standing in line to get sized for our uniforms, and there was a classmate next to me, and he had just been through like the El Paso Police Academy. So he had this whole thing down, right? The yes sirs, yes ma'ams. I just got out of college, you call your professor by their first name a lot of the time. And the gentleman across the table asked me a question, and I'm like, yeah. And my buddy's like, yes, sir. I'm like, oh man, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I got it. I'm a quick learner, but and then there was just the fun of the field and the camaraderie and getting to know people and just kind of that tightness. We all start from the same place, which is the academy. So we have that common starting base foundation. But then, what did I sign up for is really, a family of sorts on the positive side.
Absolutely. And so one of the aspects that you do talk about in the book is being a woman in the field. And can you speak a little bit to that experience and how you see, I don't know, it's different from what a man would experience in this career?
I think that you have the same opportunities as a woman as you do as a man. It just depends on how other people perceive you. And I felt like I had to prove myself no matter where I was or what position I was in. Like, I can do this. I'm a good field agent. I went through the same academy as every other man. I kind of grew up as a tomboy. So if a boy could do it, I thought I could certainly do it. So it was just, but certainly women do things differently. We have different perspectives. We have different approaches. There's some statistics out there that fewer women in law enforcement get in confrontations, physical confrontations, because women tend to know how to talk to people and de-escalate sometimes better than men, and our reactions are just different, and that's good and that's bad. But I think that women tend to we have to set the parameters of how we're going to let people treat us and what our expectations of their behaviors are towards us. And that's really difficult when you're a young, brand new agent and you're just trying to get your feet under you and learn the job.
Well, and that's a tremendous responsibility because you're talking about kind of managing up, managing sideways, managing down, managing yourself. How did you kind of cope with the toll that takes on your energy and your psychology?
So I'm an introvert, and that takes a huge toll. Daily going out to work took a huge toll on my energy. I just I enjoyed it though. There's a lot of solidarity in being an agent too, because you're alone a lot. Um, Male, female, whatever, wherever you're assigned, you rarely have a partner. And you never have the same partner really 2 days in a row. It's very different than a normal police department. But psychology wise, I think I learned how to compartmentalize. I know I learned how to compartmentalize, good or bad. It's just, and then you tuck that away. And there comes a point though where you have to, sick leave is there for a reason. And mental health is just as important as physical health. And if you need to take a day and just don't think about it. I would take a day and go rescue a dog. That's what I would do.
Yes, you would. I love it. Me too. So, can you tell us about, I think, the country, or especially after this election, we have different opinions of border security and what that means. And can you tell a story that really inspires people about the job and how it might be a little different than it's portrayed in the media?
It is very different than it's portrayed in the media. I mean, there are circumstances where you're out in the field and you just have no idea what you're going to walk into. Every circumstance is like that. I mean, right now, and in the last probably 5 to 10 years, we've had a lot more people giving themselves up than not. But there are still people who do not want to be caught, do not want to turn themselves in. And those are the people we need to worry about because they are either criminals or have some sort of, negative sort of ambition, if you will, coming into the United States. And there absolutely has to be a way to know who is coming into the country. We have enemies, plain and simple. America's not everyone's best friend or favorite person. And we really have to get through the clutter of those folks who are giving themselves up. And yeah, a lot of people are just looking for a better life, but a lot of people also are looking to harm Americans and our country and our way of life. As far as a story goes, um, I can't get one right off the top of my head, but I think it's just impressing on people the importance of knowing who is entering the country at any given time. They're not all mom and pop just looking for a better life.
Absolutely. And it only takes one.
That's
So
right.
it
That's
can
right.
be hundreds of mom and pop, and it just takes one to do tremendous damage. So that's the role of the Border Patrol is so incredibly important to the nation's security. That's an excellent point. So as you look back, and let's say this room was filled with young aspiring Border Patrol agents, what is the advice that you would give them? Or what, looking back on your career, and certainly you've continued in border security, so you're continuing to give back. But what would you say is your best piece of advice from what you learned in your career?
I think my best piece of advice is to take care of your family. The job will honestly always be there. And if you don't have hobbies outside your job when you retire, you're going to have a hard time figuring out who you are and what you want to be when you grow up. I think it's really important to provide support to your peers. Remember that your bosses need support too. executives don't have a lot of good information or positive information coming into their office every day. They're just dealing with problems most of the time. And I think that if you take care, if folks take care of each other and take care of themselves, then they can take care of the security of the country.
That's great advice. And just speaking to that a little bit more, how did you balance doing that? Because I know at a lot of women in Homeland Security events, that's definitely a question. How do you balance work and life, and still do a good job and still get promoted and still be successful?
Yeah. It's not an equal balance at any given time. I think that sometimes life takes priority, at least in my experience, and sometimes the job takes priority. And when one thing is taking priority, there's sacrifice in the other. So I probably didn't do a great job of it may look like from the outside looking in, how do you do everything? I don't do everything. I have a great support system in my husband. My daughter has always been very understanding. And then, but then I know that things that we chose to do did negatively affect her. And those are the only regrets I have, is any negative effect that my job choices had on my child. I know that towards probably, I think I was probably right around the 20-year mark. I was in San Diego as the acting deputy chief of the sector out there, and things were kind of crazy, mass migration all over the place. This was 2019-20 timeframe. My mental health was a mess at that time. And we had an agent commit suicide. And one of my subordinates asked me, like, I'm not outwardly emotional, especially at work. And she said, how do you do it? Like, I'm able to control that when I'm at work, right? I said, I don't know. There are things that I just need to get done. And I went home that night and just broke down in my kitchen, and I knew at that time, like, I probably need to get myself some therapy, some help. It's not one thing, and it can be one thing, but it's all the different incidents and episodes over your career that you don't deal with when they happen. And then all of a sudden, you're just like a mess, anxiety through the roof, and just, trying to cope however you can.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that there's a lot more attention being paid to these challenges.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yes, and particularly, for Border Patrol agents who are just doing their job and trying to secure the country and having the politics enter it in a way that's not useful or helpful. So, we completely understand, and that solidarity the nation needs to have on behalf of all of you is
Yes.
extremely
Yeah.
important. So I appreciate that. I know that Border Patrol and CBP in general are spending a lot more resources and time and attention to mental health issues, and suicides have gone up, unfortunately. And so I'm glad to see that CBP is addressing that and taking more care. So I don't want to end on a negative note, but is there any other story that you'd like to share that kind of shows the type of personality? I mean, we've seen a lot of stories about the good that Border Patrol does during the holidays and trying to ease these transitions for people trying to come to the country. Do you have a heartwarming story to begin the year?
Um, Maybe not necessarily about, kind of activities in the field when I was in the field, but in my last position as the senior executive over mission support and border patrol, I had the opportunity and great honor to start a program of support canines. So along the lines of the mental health support and resiliency and that field, we were able to start a program working with Canines for Warriors and also the Canine Academy in El Paso, the Border Patrol Canine Academy, to start a program where peer support and chaplaincy folks have a emotional support canine that they take to incidents, and these dogs have made a huge positive impact on not just agents, but all employees and communities throughout the United States where they are serving. So I think that it's really kind of the pinnacle activity that I had the honor of participating in my career.
That's awesome. And I see your activities and how much you do to save dogs. And,
Mm,
I want to go on your next trip with you. I'm right there with you. I love it. So I
Thank you.
want to thank you for having the courage to write the book and for helping others understand the true responsibilities of border security and the amazing people who do it every day. So thank you for your service to the country. And we look forward to hearing much more from you at Women in Homeland Security. And I want to encourage everyone to go buy the book on Amazon, What Did I Sign Up For by Kathleen Scudder. She's already a #1 bestseller, so hurry up and get over there and buy your book before they're sold out. You don't want to wait to read this amazing memoir. So thank you, Kathleen, for all you do and all you've done for the country. And we look forward to hearing from you more in 2025.
Thank you.